It's time to get your news on. We are VK1WIA.
It most definitely is, and it's the WIA National News for week commencing October 6, 2024. And this week, WIA directors VK8ZZ Peter and VK3FY Chris, WIA's Amateur Radio Magazine's editor-in-chief VK2ZRH Roger, Radio Amateur Old Timers Club of Australia's Clive VK6CSW, and VKDMR's 8th anniversary news with Peter VK5DMR. And socially, we visit both the Tassie Ham Conference and the Gold Coast Hamfest, thanks to Aidan VK4APM and Justin VK7TW. Now wait, there's much more in this edition of news from your Wireless Institute of Australia. I'm Editor Graham, VK4BB.
This is VK1WIA. All points of contacts from today's news stories are to be found in print when you read the web editions, www.wia.org.au.
Class Licence Qualification Training Courses. The WIA Education Committee was reformed last year and has been tasked with providing training material to support WIA-affiliated clubs with their training endeavours. An online survey is now open seeking information on the type of training material that may assist clubs with their training programs. The online survey is very simple and should only take a few minutes to complete. An email was also sent to all affiliated club presidents and secretaries last week, so please keep a watch in your inboxes for the survey. Any questions can be emailed to the address in the text edition of this broadcast, amanda.hayes@education.wia.org.au. WIA AGM 2025. The WIA is seeking expressions of interest from clubs that would like to consider holding the 2025 AGM. Typically, the WIA likes to combine the WIA AGM in conjunction with a club event like a conference, field day, a buy, swap and sell, or even a car boot sale. The event needs to be held sometime around May 2025 to comply with the corporation's law. This year, many of our members saw that the Bundaberg Amateur Radio Club executed a very successful event on May 4 and 5. The event pulled a significant number of attendees, locals, schools, first responders and commercial operators from all parts of Queensland and interstate. They held lectures, panels and even a soldering workshop and had a large number of resellers groups who put up static and interactive displays over the weekend. Expressions of interest should be sent to the Secretary at the email address in the text version, secretary@wia.org.au. This has been Chris Dimitrievich on behalf of VK1WIA National News for the Board of Directors of the WIA.
This is Editor-in-Chief of Amateur Radio Magazine, Roger Harrison, VK2ZRH. Some of you may recall that a while back I asked if any of you had ever lived on an island and used the amateur bands while you were there. Well, I've had a number of good responses, but I'd like to get a few more to flesh out the tales of experiences to be told in stories from you. I know that there must be others of you that have ever lived on an island and played amateur radio while you were there. By lived, I don't mean for a week or a fortnight's holiday. You were on the island for another purpose, and amateur radio activity was incidental to that. Perhaps you were employed on the island, which necessitated that you live there. Or perhaps you lived on an island while conducting research. I'd like to hear your stories about it, and so would the good readers of Amateur Radio Magazine, I'll bet. Many of you probably remember our special Antarctic edition, issue 5, back in 2021. Well, as you can tell, I'm planning an island edition. Tell us your personal story, just as did the contributors back in issue 5 in 2021. Your island could be anywhere in the world, not necessarily an Australian territory or protectorate. And yes, if you lived and played amateur radio on an island in an estuary or harbour within Australia, let's hear your story too. Your period of island habitation need not have been recent either. However, this is not to be about the expeditions. That's a whole other category. If you want to contribute, In the first instance, email me at VK2ZRH@WIA.org.au and I'll let you know how to best prepare and send your article, plus photos. That address will be in the text edition also. It's easy to write for amateur radio. Many amateurs have already done so. Few contributors are or were professional writers. Most of you can write about a familiar subject or an experience. Just tell the story. Start with in the beginning, add the interesting bits in the middle, and end on a high note. Our job is to polish it and make you look good. I'm Roger Harrison, VK2ZRH for VK1WIA News.
Australiana. Victorian police called to alleged copper theft from Telco pit. Vehicles allegedly used to extract cables. Victoria Police surprised 3 men allegedly trying to extract copper telecommunication cables from a pit in Melbourne's east. A member of the public had observed 3 men wearing high-vis that had cordoned off a telecommunications pit with the appearance they were working. And working they were, but as a result of that, they reported them to the police. Victorian Police detained 1 man, a 44-year-old from Watsonia in Melbourne's northeast, in connection with the alleged theft. He was charged with theft, resist emergency worker, possess drug of dependence, drive whilst disqualified, and the use of a fraudulent registration label. He was bailed to appear at Ringwood Magistrates Court December 11. Police said 2 other men fled in a dark-coloured SUV with a trailer attached. They're yet to be located. Now, anyone with information is asked to contact Crime Stoppers 1800 333 000. Now, still to come, we'll be looking at education and ALARA.
ALARA, the Australian Ladies Amateur Radio Association, will be celebrating its 50th anniversary in 2025. Join us in Melbourne for the celebrations, with the main event lunch happening on Saturday the 26th of July 2025 in Glen Waverley. For those who would like to stay a little longer, there will also be tourism options available on the Friday before, the 25th of July, and then the celebrations will continue onto the Sunday, 27th of July, with a trip planned to the Puffing Billy and Dandenong Ranges. To express your interest, please email myself, Michelle, VK2AYL, at president@alara.org.au. Looking forward to seeing you there.
Rewind.
The Wireless Institute of Australia Education Committee was reformed last year and has been tasked with providing training material to support WIA-affiliated clubs with their training endeavours. An online survey is to open up in the next few days, seeking information on the type of training material that may assist clubs with their training programs. The online survey is very simple and should only take a few minutes to complete. An email to all affiliated club presidents and secretaries will also be issued shortly, so please keep an watch on your inboxes for the survey. That was from the WIA Education Committee. Any questions can be submitted to the email address in the text edition of this broadcast.
From here, there and everywhere, you've tuned to the Wireless Institute of Australia's national news service. We are VK1WIA. Now with international news, Jason, VK2LAW.
Hello. With hundreds of people still missing in northwestern Carolina, and a little communication from those hard-hit areas, people in the Triangle are desperate to find missing loved ones. While communication's been nearly non-existent in some areas since the storm, ham radio operators are stepping in to help where they can. To assist with communications infrastructure restoration, the White House said dozens of Starlink satellite systems will provide high-speed internet access were in use in North Carolina, with over 100 more in transit to areas devastated by Hurricane Helene. Later in this bulletin of news, Richard VK2SKY will join Cole VK3GV to bring you the latest in this ongoing catastrophe. British police have launched an investigation into a cyber attack after passengers at the country's major railway stations saw an Islamophobic message when they tried to use Wi-Fi services. The Wi-Fi system was quickly taken offline after passengers said a message was displayed which referred to terror attacks. Network Rail, the group which manages tracks and train hubs, said the Wi-Fi remained offline following the incident at 19 stations, including London Bridge, and London Euston, as well as Manchester Piccadilly and Edinburgh Waverley. SARL to exhibit science and technology in amateur radio at SASF 2024. The SARL, in partnership with AMSAT SA, will exhibit at the annual South African Science Forum to be held at the CSIR Conference Centre in Pretoria, December. The focus of the SARL AMSAT SA exhibit will be science and technology in amateur radio. The SARL AMSAT SA participation is being facilitated by Brian Jacobs, Zulu Sierra 6 Yankee Zulu, and Hans van der Gronendal, Zulu Sierra 6 Alpha Kilo Victor. We are inviting radio amateurs who are involved in science and technology projects featuring amateur radio to consider participating in the event and have their projects included on the SARL AMSAT SA stand, Brian Jacobs said. We are in particular interested in projects involving learners and students. The Australian federal government has handed $51 million to US firm Manta Ray Solutions LLC to develop a new Pacific subsea cable. Forming part of Google's Central Pacific Connect initiative, the cable will land at Funafuti, Tuvalu, marking the island's first undersea telecommunications cable. The Tuvalu cable system contract will run until March 31, 2027, while the project is managed by the Australian Infrastructure Financing Facility for the Pacific. Last year, Google was tapped to deploy 2 trans-Pacific subsea cables between the United States and Australia via Fiji and French Polynesia. VOA, Voice of America, to move to new headquarters in Washington. For 70 years, it has been based at its current location, almost in the shadow of the US Capitol. Now VOA's parent, the US Agency for Global Media, has awarded a new lease establishing 1875 Pennsylvania Avenue Northwest as its own future headquarters and the home of VOA. The new location is 3 blocks from the White House in the neighbourhood of George Washington University. The agency's move to a modern facility will save taxpayers more than $150 million over the course of its 15-year lease. The organisation said in a press release. The relocation will begin in the coming months and occur in phases over the next several years. For VK1WIA National News. In Sydney, I'm Jason, VK2LAW.
From here, there and everywhere, you've tuned to the Wireless Institute of Australia's National News Service. We are VK1WIA. Now, operational news with Felix, VK4FUQ.
Hello there. Now, Contest-wise 2024. This weekend on Now. Oceania Dix Contest dates, times. Phone, the first full weekend in October each year from 0600 hours UTC Saturday to 0600 hours UTC Sunday. CW, the second full weekend in October each year from 0600 hours UTC Saturday to 0600 hours UTC Sunday. Log deadline for all phone and CW logs 31 October. International Earth-Moon-Earth Contest 0000 hours UTC on Saturday through 23:59 hours UTC Sunday. 50 to 1296 MHz October 19 and 20 and November 16, 17. Work as many amateur stations as possible via the Earth-Moon-Earth path on any authorised amateur frequency in the bands for these specific weekends. EME logs due back to the ARRL December 17. VHF-UHF Field Day, upcoming contest date and time. Spring 2024, 0100 hours UTC Saturday 23 November through 0059 hours UTC Sunday 24 November. 0400 0359 and VK6. ARRL 160 metres CW. December 6 to 8 is the date this year, but it is always the first full weekend of December. Begins 2200 hours UTC Friday, ending 15:59 hours UTC Sunday. This is a 42-hour period with no time limitation. Logs must be returned within 7 days. 10 metre ARRL contest. For amateurs worldwide to exchange QSO information with as many stations as possible on the 10 metre band. Second full weekend of December starts 0000 hours UTC Saturday, runs through 23:59 hours UTC Sunday, December 14 and 15. Again, as in most AWL tests, logs are to be completed and returned within 7 days. IOTA contest. Youth on the Air Test 303 will be from 10 hours to 21:59 hours UTC on 29 December on the 5 classic bands CW and SSB. DX Window to the World. The Chasing Cornwallis Challenge continues October 5 and 7 and 19/21 with special event stations K4M and K4Y. K4M recognises the Battle of Kings Mountain, a significant conflict during the American Revolutionary War. K4Y recognises the Battle of Yorktown. QSL cards for each event will be available. New Zealand, Wireless and Wall ZM100DX. Celebrating historic 100-year Trans-World Radio contact. This contact was by Morse and was the first ever Trans-World two-way radio communication of any type. It was from Shag Valley Station, Otago, and the contact was with Cecil Goyder, G2SZ, at Mill Hill School, London. ZM100DX as well as ZL4AA will be on the air on-site in Shag Valley Sheep Station. The main planned contact is between Shag Valley Sheep Station and Mill Hill School, 18th October. And other celebration events are planned for the following day or two. NZART Branch 30 sincerely invites all amateurs to take part in the celebration and join in marking the 100th year since the original QSO. OL-80 Carbon is active until the 30th of November to mark the 80th anniversary of Operation Carbon during World War II. This operation involved the dropping of paratroopers in the Protectorate of Bohemia and Moravia. The Protectorate of Bohemia and Moravia was a partially annexed territory of Nazi Germany that was established in 1939 after the German occupation of the Czech lands. A team of operators is active using the call OL-80 Carbon on CW, SSB and digital modes on the HF bands. More information is available on qrz.com. Back to New Zealand. NZAT has a special event call sign for the upcoming America's Cup to be held in Spain later this year. ZL6 M Cup has been allocated to celebrate this event with full gas side ZL2RO as the trustee of the call sign. November 30 is when ZL6 M Cup goes off the air. For VK1WIA National News, I'm Felix, VK4FUQ in Ingham.
From here, there and everywhere, you've tuned to the Wireless Institute of Australia's national news service. We are VK1WIA. Now, special interest group news with Cole, VK3GTV.
Hello, Worldwide Special Interest Group's Final Frontier. We often mention ARIS, or have ARIS Australian Coordinator, VK4KHZ, Shane Lind, join us. But for our new hams and listeners, what is ARIS? Amateur Radio on the International Space Station is ARIS. It's an international program that lets students use amateur radio to talk directly with crew members living and working on the International Space Station. ARIS supports hand-on learning about radio and electronics and has organised live contacts that connect students to the space station. Talking with an astronaut is an exciting and memorable way for students to apply the science and skills they learn through this program. These experiences inspire engagement in STEM studies and interest in STEM careers. So, well done, ARIS. Worldwide Special Interest Groups, Digital. Peter, VK5DMR, joins in to bring us some anniversary news.
A timely reminder to all listeners that this Tuesday night, the 8th of October, is the 8th anniversary of the VK-DMR net. I will call state by state and do several rounds to give everyone a chance to get their call sign in the log. So fire up your local repeater, your hotspot, and even the club radio if you're at the local club. Don't forget the daylight saving change in the southern states. So please come and join us on Australia's largest digital amateur radio network on Talk Group 505 at 0900 GMT. For VK1WIA, this has been Peter, VK5DMR.
Thanks, Peter. Next up, it's Worldwide Special Interest Group's IOTA, Madagascar. That's the country, not the very funny animated movie of the same name. Eric will be back on the air as 5R8IC from St. Marie Island, IOTA reference AF090, between mid-October and the end of December on HF, mostly CW and some SSB. QSL via F6ICX direct or via Bureau. Worldwide Special Interest Groups, Maritime. Starlink's unauthorised voyage into Navy waters. In a recent edition of this WIA National News Service, we brought news of the Royal Australian Navy trialling a better internet system for use of her sailors at sea and how it would help with morale. Now, from TWIT, This Week in Tech, comes word revealing that certain officers on a US Navy warship took matters into their own hands when they found the official Navy Wi-Fi inadequate. In a move reminiscent of early Wi-Fi days in corporate settings, these officers secretly installed a Starlink antenna and concealed it from the ship's captain. Emily Drybelbus, senior reporter at PC Magazine, has pointed out that this incident highlights a larger issue: the growing technological gap between the US military and the private sector. The discussion also touched on the human aspect of this issue, the challenging living conditions for sailors, especially those serving on submarines or below deck on surface ships. Most sailors don't go to the above deck for most of their deployment. It's miserable. It's like being in an underground bunker or something like that, she said, highlighting the importance of internet access for morale and quality of life. In an interesting twist, it was revealed that the US Navy is officially testing Starlink for potential use. This adds a layer of irony to the situation, as sailors are being punished for unauthorised use of a system that the Navy itself is considering adopting. Worldwide Special Interest Groups, Radio Amateur Oldtimers. And it's over to our man in the West, Clive, VK6CSW.
Hello everyone, reminding you that tomorrow is the first Monday of the month, time for the Radio Amateurs Old Timers Club of Australia's October Bulletin to go to air. Please note that this month there will be no 10-metre transmission from Mike VK8MA. This month, as well as the latest club news, I'll be talking about Fleming, pioneer of radio's early days. This will be followed by Bill VK3BR with a discussion on tin whiskers and a mystery solved. Everyone, RAOTC members and non-members alike, is most welcome to listen to the programme and to join in the callbacks afterwards. Full details of all transmissions, times, modes and frequencies can be found on the RAOTC website at www.raotc.org.au or just Google RAOTC broadcasts. But once again, there is no 10-metre transmission this month. If none of the transmission times suit you, you can download the audio file at any time from today from the club website. Tune in tomorrow for the October RAOTC Bulletin. Enjoy the programme and please join in the callbacks afterwards. 7-3 from Clive, VK6CSW.
Next, it's Worldwide Special Interest Groups Rescue Radio. With hundreds of people still missing in western North Carolina and little communication from those hard-hit areas, people in the Triangle are desperate to find missing loved ones. While communication has been nearly non-existent in some areas since the storm, ham radio operators are stepping in to help where they can. From his Johnston County home, Van Lee can communicate with people all over the world. He says ham radio can be a lifeline when disaster strikes. He said, "We don't need infrastructure. We can take a small low-power radio and some wire to build an antenna and get on the air." He explained that they can get messages to operators in western North Carolina, relaying names and addresses of people who are missing, and in some cases, getting information back to their worried families. Richard, VK2SKY, has more.
A few days ago, the Scanner Radio app on my phone notified me that over 2,000 people were monitoring W4HTP, a 2-meter repeater in Charlotte, North Carolina. Tuning in via Broadcastify, I found an active emergency net being run very capably by Daniel K2DMG. Many amateurs have been checking into this net, providing welfare checks on local residents and relaying messages to loved ones outside the area by means of amateur radio. Meanwhile, on HF, the Tar Heel Emergency Net, part of North Carolina ARES, has been active with nets providing longer-haul communications out of the area. North Carolina, Tennessee, and surrounding areas have been very badly affected by Hurricane Helene, with widespread disruption to roads, bridges, power, and communications infrastructure. Amateurs have stepped up and proven once again that when all else fails, amateur radio can still get through.
Thanks, Richard. On to worldwide special interest groups VHF and above. In the UK, the RSGB has responded to a recent Ofcom consultation which would see new users sharing spectrum within their 2.3 GHz amateur band. Whilst the new devices may be limited to indoor use, the RSGB has taken the opportunity to highlight concerns regarding the weak signal 2320 MHz segment. In addition, the RSGB has also indicated its wish to review the current restrictions that apply to this band that date back to 2013, but it was subject to public sector spectrum release. The response and background information can be found in the link shown in this week's WIA National News. And that wraps up the segment for this week. I'll catch you next week with more. I'm Cole, VK3GTV.
Across Australia, from VK1WIA, you're tuned to the WIA National News Service. On the beautiful Sunshine Coast of Queensland, it can be heard on 146.825 and 146.850 MHz FM local repeater output frequencies. On Sundays at 9 a.m. local time. I'm Marty, VK4 Kilo Charlie, the Mad Dog.
2024, it's a date, and today we visit Tasmania and the Gold Coast.
Hi there, it's Hamfest season, and have we got a Hamfest for you? Not all Hamfests are the same. The Gold Coast Hamfest is renowned for the variety of businesses and other suppliers attending, not to mention the eclectic range of fellow amateurs with great gear to show and sell, plus other ham radio clubs. You know what they say about real estate? Location, location, location. This Hamfest is on the Gold Coast, the hub of ham activity in this part of the world, on Sunday, October 13. I repeat, Sunday, October 13, at Country Paradise Parklands, 231 Beaudesert Nerang Road, Nerang. If you've been there before, you'll know that location. If the Gold Coast Hamfest is a new one for you, just Google it. It's too easy. Entry is $5, the same as it's been for years, and the doors open to the public from 8:30 a.m. There is on-site parking and everything is undercover. Coming early or coming late, you'll need a snack. And once again, we're having the very popular bacon and egg muffins as well as other items from the barbecue. To book a table and for other info, go to www.gcars.com.au and look for the Hamfest tab, or email hamfest@gcars.com.au. Those web address details are on the text edition of this broadcast on the WIA website. See you at Nerang on Sunday, October 13. This is Aiken, 3K4 APM for the Gold Coast Amateur Radio Society. Now back to the national news.
This is VK1WIA. All points of contacts from today's news stories are to be found in print when you read the web editions. www.wia.org.au.
Get ready for an electrifying weekend on November the 2nd and 3rd. The Sir Stanley Burbury Theatre at UTAS Sandy Bay will buzz with excitement as the 2024 Tassie Hamicon Amateur Radio Conference kicks off. This year's theme, Innovation in Amateur Radio, and we've got a fantastic lineup of presenters, and here are some more to inspire and inform. Andy, N0APX, is set to dive into the cutting-edge World Radio League, showing off cloud-based logging and real-time analytics. Murray, VK7ZMS, will bring some laughs with his cleverly titled talk, If It Works, It's Not Stupid, packed with inventive ideas that actually work. And Marty, VK4KC, will share his passion for the Parks on the Air program, combining outdoor adventure with radio fun. It's a fully catered event and the program is live. Please don't wait. Bookings close October 25th and spots are filling fast. With innovation at the forefront, this is a can't-miss event for radio enthusiasts. Secure your spot today.
Thanks, Aidan and Justin. Now, till next we meet, I'm Graham, VK4BB, editor of this, the WIA National News, reminding you all to walk softly.
This has been the Wireless Institute of Australia with the weekly news service. This broadcast is in text, audio and video and is accessed on wia.org.au.
Courtesy of Bevan, VK5BD's ATV and YouTube channel, this has been WIA National News. We're back now, live and local, and your voice, your callbacks. And don't forget, tick like.